So right now I am taking pictures of a property that is about to be rented. I had a couple put down a deposit to move into the property tomorrow. So I'm here making sure everything's in order, making sure it looks good, taking pictures prior to their arrival to make sure it looks the same way after they are done leasing the property. This property is a month-to-month lease. It's typically a very seasonal area, so you get a higher rate during season. Which here is typically, I would say after Thanksgiving-ish until maybe end of May-ish. So right now it'll be month to month. I do have some people coming in later, or actually beginning of next year. So right in the middle of season. So it's month to month until that time. But I'm just here checking everything, making sure everything looks good, making sure I got enough pictures in order to protect against damages or any disputes. And that's pretty much it. So just doing the rounds on that, and contract's already signed, so lease will be in effect tomorrow, and assuming the rest of the money is collected with the deposit. But that's all there is to it. It's a long one. It's probably, I don't know, going on 13-14 hour day here. So just one of the things you got to do. Here's the current living room. There's a lot of termite damage on the subfloor. It's being a almost 100-year-old home. There's a lot of termite damage on the subfloor. Fortunately, there's not a whole lot in the actual support beams. So typically what I did mostly throughout was add subfloor on top, which is essentially adding heat-treated plywood on top of some of the areas that are a little bit soft from the subfloor and attaching directly to the support beams. So that's what I did. I added floor coverings. Had to kind of do a rush job because I lived here for a little bit. Had a little bit of a gap in between the subfloor and the regular walls. So I added a little bit thicker baseboards and trim on the bottom to try and kind of bridge that gap. There's a little bit of slant in the house, just being wood frame and being 100 years old. I painted, added some little bit of decorations, kind of some of the furniture I had more or less lying around, bought some. But paint really helped a lot. This was white, stained. Added a TV that's probably way too large for the space. Same thing really in the kitchen. I actually went over some of the laminate floor, and to keep the level flush with the living room, I actually had to do subfloor here, even though some spots I didn't have to. Cabinets were a problem, being I didn't want to take out the cabinets, time and also cost effectiveness. So I actually went underneath the house and secured a couple more support 2x4s with some more subfloor underneath. That should generally do the trick. In some areas like the stove, I added subfloor on top and then put floor coverings on. So I had to run a new gas line, so I had to try to use the original one, which was copper, but it was so old it kinked and started leaking. So I took that out, ran a new flexible steel gas line. So new stove, new dishwasher, both from Facebook, propane gas, and painted the cabinets, added new door handles, painted the stove hood, put in new ceiling fans, painted these cabinets, painted the kitchen, added the table, floor coverings here. Didn't have to replace the subfloor here. New smart thermostat, painted, added some shelves, added a small TV, changed the ceiling light. Let's see. There was a hole here. I'm trying to remember. There was a hole in the wall. I had to put in a new shower. So there's a hole in the wall. I think when they did the water, I believe there was a hole there for some reason. Anyway, I closed that hole up, painted, obviously added furniture. What else did we do? So bathroom. So this was all rotted, water damaged floor. Bathtub was leaking, toilet was leaking, under the sink was leaking. So new pipe connection, had to change out that it was old cast iron. Had to change that to a PVC. New vanity. Let's see. I put in a new toilet. Repiped the entire house with new water pipes. So I put in a new shower. I just got a few piece just shower that was pre-cut. Put that in, and after we replaced the subfloor, so I had to take out the entire floor, subflooring, and we actually had to replace a little bit behind here as well. It was leaking behind the shower into the closet of the next bedroom, and that was we had to get underneath the house and actually help support the beam from so much water damage. Window behind here, had to kind of close that off with a concrete board. And this was a bath. I actually soldered the connection, the pipe leading down to where the bath was, so I soldered that shut, just put in the shower, and painted. I had to cut out this section of drywall, you can see it, to get that shower, and I wasn't able to do it flush. I had to cut it out, because if you can see, these fit in, so this lip goes behind the drywall. Let's see, other bedroom. Yeah, so behind here, this was all open. There was a leak behind there, so I had to get in behind there. I had to get in behind the shower also. I had to put in a new shower valve. Painted everything. Obviously added a bed. Added a ceiling fan. Can leave that on. Let's see. We'll go out here. So this is the area that was an addition. So I did not touch the floor here. I was gonna do. I was gonna run some luxury vinyl plank. I have not yet, but this is the addition, not under air, so it's got a wall unit. I did replace the light, added a TV, and so this leads out to the deck area. Already kind of showed you the pool. There was no fencing, so I added the fencing, put solar lights on top, so it's private, because it sits so high up. You're higher up than most of the other houses. Got a nice view of the city lights. So stained the fence, added the lattice up top for extra privacy, and like I said, solar lights. I added fence extenders just to make the fence about 6 feet, and added hedges all the way around the front for extra privacy, being that it's on a relatively busy road. Oddly enough, this property has a bathroom. Go outside here. Oddly enough, it's got a bathroom here, but I actually ran water to it, but it's obviously that's not in use. I don't know why you'd use it until I close it off. So you can see the pool area. Washer dryer, hot water heater outside. Added new washer dryer, new water heater. Changed the pipe fitting so it's easier to swap in and out, being that it's outside, it's going to corrode quicker. So new AC unit, new pool pump, new filter casing for the pool. Edges all the way around, so it's nice and private. So here's a look at the house when I first purchased the property. So very old property, carpet was very old. The AC was actually off for a long time, so you have a lot of soft spots underneath the carpet from this termite damage that you're looking at. And so what I did is I put some heat treated plywood down and drilled basically right into the support beams, and I used some liquid nails to help keep it down. And then I started laying luxury vinyl plank down. Started doing sections of that. So I had to do this very quick. I think I did this in a couple days, the entire thing, but I only had some, basically evenings to do it. Here's the finished product. So painted. You'll see I added some trim, some baseboards. Excuse me. Added a TV that's probably way too large for the space. I think the TV's maybe 70 inches, and it's a 700 and change square foot house plus the addition. So I painted cabinets, added a new ceiling fan. So here's the kitchen. So you can see they use the adhesive squares, the little adhesive tile squares. Cabinets where I had to actually sand those and put new handles on and put all new appliances in. Actually, the faucet was leaking, so I had to change the faucet. It's a very old refrigerator, still works, so I used that for a little bit. I actually lived here while I did this remodel. Um, Here's kind of underneath the cabinets, so there's a lot of water damage underneath the cabinet, so I actually got underneath there like you're seeing here. There's also the repipes, the PEX, and I actually put more support beams in between the supports going horizontally, and then I also added some more plywood underneath to help support underneath the cabinets. So a little it was not cost effective for me to take out cabinets and repair the floor on top. So is here's kind of the finished product. So I did more luxury vinyl plank there as well. So here's the bathroom. The bathroom is leaking very bad. So you can see there's a window behind there. It was leaking at the window. It was also leaking, as you see, they kept trying to put like a sealant there, and it kept expanding and continually leaking. So it was leaking there into the wall, into the floor. So we had to take out basically the floor, and actually we also added some support beams here too. It was that bad, and put new subfloor down, put some support beams to help support what was already there. Fix the window. I used concrete board to cover that up, and I replaced a little bit of the trim all on the side, and put some more luxury vinyl plank down. There's the P-trap there underneath. So I had to get a new P-trap for the shower drain. You can see behind there it was leaking into the closet, and did new toilet, new vanity, and had to cut that pipe there. That was the bath. I had to cut that and solder it closed. Tons of water damage there on the vanity. There's one of the cracked sewer pipes. It's cast iron. So I cut that piece there and soldered it, and now it's just a shower. Had to pull out the previous shower and put this new one in, but I had to remove I had to cut a piece of the drywall in order to do so. Painted. There's the new toilet, new vanity. So here's one of the bedrooms. It was, again, carpet. There wasn't a whole lot of damage to the subfloor. There's the floor underneath. The only problem was in the closet from the leaking shower right there. So we had to replace all that and fix the leak behind there. And it was open for when they replaced the water line. So I didn't do the water lines. I did everything else. My stepdad actually helped me with this room and helped me with the bathroom. Just some of the subfloor, and then drilling into the support beams, and then I did the rest. There's another bedroom. You can see this one was actually pretty good. There was no really termite damage or any soft spots on the floor, so I actually kept that subfloor, and I just put luxury vinyl plank over top of it and painted the baseboards. So this one was pretty easy. There's the hallway. Same thing in the hallway. There wasn't really any damage in terms of soft spots, termites, or water, so I just kept that original subfloor underneath. Here's the addition. And the pool was bad. The pool cage blew off during one of the hurricanes, so lost that. And the pool was terrible. There was a bunch of debris at the bottom. I had to use a submersible pump to drain it, and then just jump in there over like probably a week and just pull everything out myself into contractor bags. Yeah, there's my little guy swimming in the pool there, which was his apparently lake. So here's the bottom. So I had to pull all that out and scoop all that out myself. That was terrible. It was smelled like sewage. And you're really not supposed to do that to a fiberglass pool, but I called one of the contractors I work with, and he had a specialist just to kind of look at the water tables and to see if it would pop out, because it can pop out when it's not weighted. It's designed for weight, but I was actually okay here. So there I started to fill it back up, and there's kind of the finished product of that. It started to separate from the concrete inlay, so I had to run, I basically tried some concrete to help bond it to it. Maybe it doesn't look the best, but it works. So here's the posts. I just used a post digger and a shovel and just got to it and did this fence around, because you're so high. you kind of have a direct look at the neighbors and they're looking directly at you. So I wanted to change that. So I did these posts and then put a fence in. I did a horizontal wood fence, which is kind of cool. It's the first one I've done. I added some solar lights on top and some vinyl lattice on top just for extra privacy, because general code is a 6-foot fence. So, but I extended it up with 2 feet of lattice to make it 8 feet, just to give a little bit more privacy. But it really came out pretty well. Probably could have measured a little bit better in some spots, but did it. I did it in some evenings and a weekend. Evenings on a weekend. Then I actually restained the pool deck. And stain's tough here with the amount of wear and tear, people walking on it, and the weather, the heat. So some of it, pulls off no matter how many coats you do. So here's a new AC unit. I had to pull it up just because it's flood zone, and it was right on a really busy road. So I just started throwing hedges in there, and I had a guy stealing my hedges, which was another story. But there's kind of the finished product. I ran my own sprinklers. So let's look at today's EDC dump. So today I'm carrying a Taurus GX4 Toro edition. Toro meaning you basically have the optic, which is the optic fitting on top. So I like this firearm a lot. The price is unbelievable. I think I got it for $299, which is insane for this quality of firearm. So I've had one problem with Taurus. That was actually one of my first firearms, my first Cary gun. However, they fixed it almost instantaneously, no problems. Called, they shipped it back to me in a matter of maybe 2 weeks. But love this. I'm carrying this with what is this? Warrior Land holster. So in waistband holster. I got this from Amazon. Has the claw. Not a huge fan of claws, being the Sonority is a small firearm. You don't really need the extra protection for. Or extra concealment. So this basically helps keep the firearm pressed against your body, so you're not printing people. Printing meaning you people can see under your shirt you have a firearm. So this helps with that. But being that it's a small firearm, it's a 3-inch barrel, you don't really need it, and it does make it extra difficult to get on and off the actual holster. So I typically don't particularly care for that. This firearm, there's nothing in the chamber. So take this out. So nothing in the chamber on this firearm. Typically always carry one in the chamber. If you don't, we call that a dead man's gun. But love this firearm. You can see I got a mag extension on this one. This one I believe holds, I think it holds 13 plus 1 in the chamber, so 14 total. But love this firearm. You can see the phenomenal grip here. I really like the grip and the texture, particularly by the stippling where your grip hand is. Helps me stay on target, particularly with a firearm that is this small. It's going to be a lot harder to stay on target because there's not as much contact. It's not a lot to hold on to. So it is a bit snappy. This particular firearm, the only thing I don't like is the trigger is relatively stiff. Now I've probably put, I don't know, maybe 300-400 rounds through this, maybe slightly less, maybe around 200, something around there. But firearm the trigger is rather stiff. But for an EDC, I think that's perfectly fine. Besides that, though, I like this optic. Optic is actually pretty cheap. I think I got this on sale for maybe $70. But great optic for the price. It's always on. Sorry, it's a shake awake. So when you shake it, it wakes up. If not, it's sleeping, therefore saving the battery. But is lasting very well. It's probably maybe a year-old firearm that I've had. But really enjoy this firearm for the quality. I don't think for the quality and the price you can beat it. So I do actually carry this quite a bit.